welcome back to Franchise Player, and today we're taking a look at 5 must-play Xbox One exclusives. I know the Xbox One did not have the most successful life cycle by any means, especially compared to something like the PS4 or Switch. But there actually are some pretty good first-party games on the Xbox One that are only playable on the Xbox One or PC. So today we're checking out 5 of them. The Xbox One definitely did not have the same amount of exclusives as something like the PS4 or the Switch. There's definitely still some good exclusives on this console that should not be slept on. So stay tuned, this is going to be a fun one. Let's get right into it. All right, so first up on the list, we have Sunset Overdrive, and I was surprised by this, man. This game was fun. It really had some similar vibes and similar energy that like original Xbox games gave off, and I would say early to mid life cycle 360 games. So this really felt like an Xbox game, which I was a huge fan of. This game, kind of an interesting story, I guess. Basically, this energy drink comes out. It infects the entire city, and these people turn into zombies, basically. And since there are so many zombies / enemies in the city, the way that you get around kind of feels like Infamous combined with Jet Set Radio in a really cool way, man. So it's really fun to just grind along the rails, jump on top of cars, and kind of use that as like a trampoline. And while you're also grinding the rails and jumping around and stuff, you can use your guns and weapons. And the weapons in this are pretty fun to use. There's one in the beginning that you get that basically like launches records at enemies, which was pretty fun to use. One big thing that I'll talk about before moving on to the next game was this was actually made by Insomniac Games. If you're not familiar with Insomniac, dude, they did the Ratchet & Clank series back in the day and the more recent Spider-Man games that are on PlayStation. So I highly recommend this game. It reviewed pretty well. Graphically, I think it is a touch dated by today's standards, but it still looks good. Definitely the game that I had the most fun with on this list, man. So let's get right into the next one. All right, so next up here we have Rare Replay. This is a really unique title because it has 30 different games on it. Rare Replay looks like it came out back in August of 2015. So the Xbox One had already been out for a little while and had been starting to pump out some games. But Rare Replay, super cool. Like I said, you have 30 games on this, ranging from games back to like the late 80s and 90s. And then some newer games that were actually, launch titles or near launch titles on the Xbox 360. There's 2 different versions you can get of Rare Replay. As you can see, the one I have is just like the standard Rare Replay that comes with the 30 different games. And then there's a different version that you can get that has Gears of War, the first Gears of War on it. So that's not a bad option too. I believe it has all of the same titles that this one has, so there's a couple different options if you're out there looking. I think some of the standout titles in this collection are definitely going to be Conker's Bad Fur Day. I know that's pretty expensive physically. You have Banjo-Kazooie. Never really played the Banjo games, but they've always looked super fun, so I'm down to dive into that. They've Grabbed by the Ghoulies, which I believe is an original Xbox game. And then they have some of the Perfect Dark series on there, plus tons of other games. So yeah, I think this is a good value. I got this, I think, for like $5. You can easily find it for, 10, 15 all day. So this is definitely a good one to have in your Xbox collection. All right, so next up we have Halo 5 Guardians. And I'm going to keep it real, man. I think this was probably my least favorite game on the list. I don't know if it's my nostalgia goggles of just loving Halo 3, Reach, Halo 1, Halo 2. And I'm not saying this is a bad game by any means. I haven't even finished the campaign yet. So I don't know, maybe it turns around, who knows? Maybe my Halo love gets reignited, who knows? Anything's possible. But from what I heard, this definitely runs better than Infinite on an Xbox One. I'm not expecting Infinite to run super well, but looking forward to trying that too. But yeah, back to this game, man. It was cool. It's fine so far. It's nothing crazy. It came out back in October 2015 from what I saw online. And this is when the Xbox One was at least trying to kind of gain some ground back against the PS4. The PS4 was already kind of going in on them at this point in terms of sales and units and just software sales. I want to go back and finish this. I'm hoping I'll like it more. I really liked Halo back in the day, specifically 3. Reach was really fun. I love Halo 1. ODST was cool. I really wish Halo would kind of return to its glory, but who knows if that will ever happen. I also don't have Xbox Live or Game Pass or whatever is required nowadays to play online on Xbox, so maybe this game really shines in the multiplayer. I haven't played Halo Online in probably 10 years, so I don't know, maybe this is super fun online. Let me know if it's still populated. All right, so next up here we have a launch title for the Xbox One, and that is Rise, Son of Rome. And I played this earlier today for the first time. I'd picked this up months ago and just hadn't had time to try it yet, but I was like, hey, Let's pop this in. Let's see how it is. And for a launch title, I'm super impressed. Even with it currently being 2024 right now, this game still looks really, really, really good. And mind you, the TV that I have my Xbox One and PS3 hooked up to is not some crazy display. It's some super old Samsung display, not 4K or anything like that. I have my PS5 hooked up to the newer, nicer TV that I have. But yeah, I was impressed with how it looks. It holds up really, really well. And I'm assuming back when this came out, it was definitely kind of a showcase piece for Xbox. Okay, so graphics are good. How's the gameplay? From what I played, it was only a couple hours. I didn't see a whole lot of depth. But then again, hey, it's a launch title. I mean, it was fun. I could see maybe halfway through the game or towards the end of the game, maybe it gets a little repetitive with some of the pushing or blocking or combos that you do. But overall, like I said, the game just looks incredible from what's going on in the background, the buildings, the shadows, everything in this game still looks really, really good over 10 years later. So, hats off to Xbox. I know the Xbox One did not have, the most successful console life cycle ever. Overall, I think Rise Son of Rome is definitely worth a play. If it's on Game Pass and you can play it there, give it a shot. Pretty cheap physically too, so if you want to go the physical route, I definitely think it's worth a playthrough. Doesn't seem like the longest game in the world, but yeah, check it out, man. And last but not least, we have Gears of War 4. I loved the Gears of War series growing up. I had one, I had two, played the hell out of them online, co-op campaign, horde, pretty much everything there was to offer. Didn't play much of 3. I'm playing through the campaign right now and I'm having a good time. Just good old classic Gears of War action, super gory, great enemies, pretty good gunplay, hiding behind a barrier, popping over, getting your shots off. This game came out in October of 2016. And I know around this point, Xbox fans were, pretty vocal about, hey man, we want exclusives. Where are the exclusives at? Drop more games. And, Gears of War 4, it's, one of the flagship titles by Xbox. It's another series that I think unfortunately has kind of lost some popularity, similar to Halo. I think its heyday was definitely on the 360, right? Last gen, well, 2 gens ago now, which is crazy. But yeah, Gears of War 4, I'm having a good time with it. I'm looking forward to checking Horde out. I'm probably not going to play online just because I don't really feel like paying for Xbox Live. I already have PlayStation Plus, but I think this is worth a pickup, worth a look. It's pretty cheap out there. I got this for, I think it was like $2.99. You can easily find it for $5 or $10 pretty much all day. One last thing I want to say about Gears 4, graphics do not really feel too dated in my opinion. The actual gameplay itself looks pretty good, and then the cutscenes actually look really solid, even for it being a release from 2016, right? So yeah, if you're playing this on a nice display, a monitor, I think you'll have a good time with Gears with the gameplay and the graphics. So I haven't played 5, so let me know if it's better than this or which one you prefer. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Let me know what Xbox One exclusives that you like. I personally think, and I think a lot of other people do, that kind of Xbox's heyday, its prime was in the 360 days, and the original Xbox definitely fell off a bit in terms of exclusives this generation, and I would even say on the Series X as well, at least so far. I really want to see Xbox bounce back. It's good to have competition and them to, compete with Sony, compete with Nintendo. Competition usually breeds better games and just excellence overall, man. So yeah, I really enjoyed kind of going back and exploring the Xbox One library, since it's something that I totally missed out on, since I've always been more of a PlayStation guy and didn't have an Xbox One when they originally came out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of these games, man. Drop some exclusives below that you think I missed out on that are worth playing on the Xbox One. And as usual, appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you soon with another video.